Good morning, everyone. Welcome to the EasyPower Tuesday Refresher Series. My name is Jim Chastain. I'm your host for today's session. And today we're highlighting some recent additions to the feature set of EasyPower tools. And as an aside, for those of you that don't know, most of our improvements in the tools are driven by feature requests or suggestions from our customers. And that avenue for making those inputs or suggestions is an email to techsupport@easypower.com. So I just encourage you to use that as you realize there are ways we can improve the tools. Before I introduce our guest speaker for today, I wanted to run a couple poll questions and get some feedback as we are in the habit of doing. By all means, there's no obligation or liability, but we would appreciate the feedback on this particular topic. So the first question is, what is your preferred method of data collection when doing an ARC flash or system study? And the choices are pretty wide-ranging, so let me know kind of where you fall into this category. Again, we do appreciate your attendance today. We appreciate your support of EasyPower, and we value the feedback we get from all of our customers. So it looks like we have about a 50% participation. Let's give this another 10 seconds. Make sure we get a quorum. All right, that looks good. Here's how folks have weighed in on this one. Pretty much, I think, mirrors what we expect and what we get as far as feedback. And the second question is, what method do you use to take pictures when you're data gathering in the field? So again, the choices are not quite as wide-ranging, but hopefully it covers the methods that you use. Now, we've pre-recorded the presentation today, and our presenter is the newly promoted Vice President of Sales and Marketing, Mike Antonishen. And when he recorded this material was prior to his promotion. So you will hear that in the presentation. Here's how folks have weighed in on this question. Excellent. Good to know. All right, as I mentioned, Mike Antonishen has pre-recorded this presentation, but he is online with us today. And by all means, if you have a question, please use the question control box in the GoToWebinar controls, and we will be able to answer it either online or verbally at the tail end. So let me kind of cue up Mike, and we're good to go.
Welcome. I'm Mike Antonishen. I'm an electrical engineer, and I'm product marketing manager here at EasyPower. Today's webinar is about data collection and data entry. We'll be showing details of EasyPower's new data gathering and camera integration features, and we'll show some examples of how this can be practically applied to speed up your data collection and your data entry efforts. If you've ever done field data gathering, you probably know it to be a significant effort, requires a lot of preparation beforehand and a ton of organization after. Generally speaking, field time or time that you're going to spend out in the facility gathering data, it's valuable and it's limited. You often have one or multiple people assisting. You might be working during a limited shutdown window, or you might just trying to kind of be safe, be fast, not get in the way or impact normal operations in any way. Don't trip anything offline. Recognizing these constraints, we've worked to build some features into EasyPower that help make data gathering and data entry, the whole process around these things, more efficient. We hope that they'll save you time, but also maybe help you miss fewer things when you're on site. We're also going to lean in and recommend a data collection process that we believe to be the most efficient based on our own experiences and best practices we've heard from customers over the years. To put it briefly, the process we recommend and that our new features are built for includes doing some model building before going out into the field. At a minimum, establishing equipment and connectivity on an EasyPower 1 line. Even with rough 1 lines, this should be a possibility in most situations. For example, these could be drawings you find in a filing cabinet at your facility, or if you're a consultant, it could be the drawings that you get sent to bid on a job. Once this 1-line skeleton is built, the new features we've added are meant to make it easy to associate data and pictures with equipment on the 1 line while you're in the field, and then allow you to do the rest of the detailed data input work when you're back at your normal workstation with all of the comforts and efficiencies that go with that. Our agenda today is to first go over some of the camera integration and picture linking features within EasyPower, and then we'll do practical examples. So on the camera integration and the feature front, we'll start by showing how to take images with your device camera. Let's say you have a tablet that you're in the field with, and how to associate those with specific pieces of equipment in real time, take notes, add details, etc. We'll also do the same thing with an external camera and show how you sync those external images in a way where EasyPower can automatically associate them. We'll cover media gallery features, which is something we've improved to help better kind of intuitively and easily handle pictures and linking within EasyPower. And then finally, the practical examples that we're going to cover are going to be entry of say a transformer based on a transformer nameplate, and we'll do a breaker based on a breaker nameplate, kind of, again, using some of the new features that we've brought into EasyPower with the release of 10.6. All right, now let's jump into EasyPower and talk a little bit about the camera integration features, why they're important and what they are. The EasyPower camera integration features are most powerful when you're in the field with a computer or a tablet doing your data gathering. Historically, as we've already discussed, the data collection process has involved a lot of paper, sketches, pictures, a lot of things that you're doing in the field, which you must later return to your desk and organize, make sense of, remember what the heck this is, before you get to the process of actually doing data entry. We built our camera integration features around a process where if you've got EasyPower in the field with you, whether it's on a computer or a tablet, and you've built a skeleton of your model as part of your preparation for going to the field based on whatever 1 lines are available, the whole process is then simplified and sped up. You can capture images and take notes that are immediately associated with equipment on your 1 line, which the intent behind this is to minimize your field time, give you a higher level of confidence in the data you gather, and also associate it in real time. And it removes some of that guesswork from when you get back to the office. So your office time is also made more efficient since you've now cut out the often confusing task of sorting through that stack of papers and uploading those images, wondering, what the heck is this? Did I do nameplate and then equipment, or equipment and then nameplate? So you simply return to your desk, you populate the model based on the pictures and notes that you've already associated with the equipment within your model, and you're done. Finally, when it comes time for QC, there's an additional benefit of, instead of handing off your model along with a reference to a folder and a bunch of papers to whoever might be checking your model, you're now handing off just the model, and all of the pictures or data that you've gathered, the notes that you've taken in the field, are already embedded in the model. They're associated with the correct pieces of equipment. And so when somebody has a question about, that transformer nameplate or those settings on that breaker, they can simply double click, look, confirm, and you've got what we think is a better process for gathering data and getting into your model so you can get quicker to analysis. So how do we actually use this camera integration feature? Like everything in EasyPower, we did a fair amount of work to try and make the user interface as easy and intuitive as possible. And so as you might expect, using the camera integration feature involves being in database edit mode and double clicking on a piece of equipment that you're interested in. And you'll see here that I've got this collected data tab that I can open and close. And the collected data tab has some options here. I can capture an image, which is what we'll do. I can add images to the gallery from a folder, I can delete, and I can link things. But for now, we're going to use the capture image tool. So you hit capture image and you get a pop-up that asks you, would you like to use your device's camera or wait to take with an external camera? And so we'll start by going with our device's camera. And you can see here, this is the back of my webcam cover because I am not in the field. I'm actually at my desk, as surprising as that might be. And in order to take a photo, I just hit the Take Photo button. And it gives me a couple options here. I can enter a file name, a description, and another description here. I'll just enter those fields so that you can see where they go. Also has some editing tools if you're interested in or need to make some edits to the pictures live in the field. But I'll just hit accept. And you can see here that, all right, I've taken an image and I've got some notes and some properties associated with it, and it's immediately linked to panel 11C. And so you can imagine that as you're working your way through the field and you've got your one line kind of pre-built, but maybe doesn't have all the data in it, and you've got a lot of question marks throughout, you're able to very easily, move through your model, click that capture image button, and have those images stored really nicely, so you don't have to do any sorting when you get home. And then the other really nice thing is these notes is you can take contextual notes that sit right with the equipment that you need them with. And so again, it reduces the sorting when you get back. It's a very nice feature to have all of your data really in one spot. So this is a good workflow if I've got a device like a tablet with EasyPower on the tablet, and that tablet also has a camera that I'm using to take pictures with. But if I'm using a laptop, for example, I'm rolling that laptop around on a cart and I've got a mouse with a laptop, it's a pretty good work setup for potentially entering more data in the field or building out certain parts of the model or small pieces that I may not have had on the one line. But I'd like to associate pictures with that. In order to do that, again, you hit capture image, but this time you use wait for photo to be taken with an external camera. And so I'll select this and it opens a window where, again, I can add details, I can add notes, the file name, and while this window is open, I will capture an image with my external camera, whether that's my phone or whether it's a digital camera, and I'll click this button. And so what that does in the background here is it's creating a placeholder. So it's not an image, as you can see, it's just a thumbnail of a camera. But this has a time window associated with it. So when I use the import function to synchronize my external camera's photos with EasyPower, it will look for photos taken within this time window, grab them, and automatically associate them with this piece of equipment. So that instead of having to upload and import and then use our linking tools, it actually will do it automatically for you. And then you have a nice workflow for potentially using your laptop and an external camera. All right, so now let's say I'm done data gathering. I'm back at my desk and I've done all my data gathering with a laptop and I've taken my images with an external camera that's not associated with that laptop. And so I've got a bunch of placeholders throughout my model. I'm going to leave this test placeholder here just so you can see what it looks like to have a placeholder that's not actually associated with an image, since I did not take a picture while I was in that dialog. And I'll go here to this breaker and show you that I've actually created a little bit earlier, I created a couple images that are associated with the breaker nameplate and the breaker settings here. But in order to do my import from my camera, I'll go to the media gallery. And you can see here, we'll go over media gallery features a little bit later. But first, I'm just going to show the import. What you can see here is if I click import photos taken with an external camera, it brings up the folder that I had pre-assigned. And so you can see here that I've got a special folder that's got some pictures for this webinar, and it's found 2 photos that are associated with placeholders within my model. And it's also telling me here, hey, look at this, I've got a placeholder, but there's no photo that's associated with it. And so you get this, hey, there's a problem image. And so I'm just going to uncheck this one so that nothing happens to it. And you can see here that I've got a couple different options. I can import, I can select all or deselect. I can remove selection, and I can delete selected item and associated photo. But for now, I'm just going to say, okay, well, I'd like to import, close. And if I click back into this breaker, now you can see that those placeholders have been replaced with the images. So all the notes and everything like that stay the same, but now the images are associated. And so you can see how that is, it's a really pretty slick process for saying, all right, well, I've got placeholders associated with equipment that I had when I was in the field, and now I'm uploading my images, and it doesn't actually add very much extra work to use an external camera. They're auto-associated. You've got a nice little workflow there. All right, I'm going to jump back into the import window to show one more feature up here, which is something that allows you to specify the time on your camera to synchronize with the computer. Since EasyPower uses a timestamp to assign images from an external camera, it's important to make sure that your external camera and your computer times match. But if you do find yourself in a situation where your camera time happens to be different from the computer for whatever reason, maybe you're dealing with different time zones, or maybe the time is just wrong. We also have an integrated tool to correct for time differences so that images can be automatically associated, so that when you upload them, it actually finds them all and it's automatic, as opposed to it if the times are different, initially it will find nothing. So here you can either tell EasyPower your camera time based on what you observe on your camera, or if easier, you can also just use the known difference between the computer and the camera time. So for example, if I go to edit time and I know that the time difference between my phone and my camera is 1 hour, I would enter 3,600 seconds, and that would be how I correct for a 1 hour time difference. Now, we've been looking at the media gallery across the bottom of the screen here for a little bit, and I said earlier that we would talk about it and show some of the features. So let's jump into that now. So as you can imagine, in addition to the camera integration features and improving those, adding some of those into EasyPower, we also wanted to take this time to improve the media gallery. This is something that existed before, but that we wanted to build on and kind of make a little bit better with the camera integration to allow a kind of a whole holistic experience around media items or photos within EasyPower. And so some of the improvements we made were just around that idea of making it easier to manage, modify, sort, associate pictures and media items, or even say find the equipment that's linked to them within EasyPower. You can imagine that if getting pictures into EasyPower step 1, it makes sense that working with them in EasyPower step 2 should also be a nice and easy process. And so first thing, how do you access the media gallery? How do you get this window at the bottom open? There are 2 different ways. You can go to Window up at the top here, and you can say View Media Gallery. You can see that it's checked, so it's open now, and I can make it go away. And I can open it with the same method, or I can right-click anywhere on the one line and also do it from here, say View Media Gallery, and you can see that I've opened it. Some of the features include you can capture an image. This opens the same dialog that we saw when you opened the equipment windows. If I open any equipment window, you can see I get these same icons. But in addition to that, I can import photos just from any folder that I like. Right now, I've got a electrical equipment folder open. I'll just select some images here, hit open, and then if I scroll down, you can see, oh, look at that. I've got all those images, and they're automatically in. In addition to importing, I can delete. So you can see if I select all of these guys, I can delete them all. What else can I do here? I can link. The next thing on the bar is linking. So let's say I would like to link, say, 1 or multiple. I'm hitting Shift when I do this to select multiple. If I don't hit Shift, I just click 1 at a time. But if I do multiple, I can link to a bus, or I can link to multiple buses. So I can just pick I've got some pictures of a utility here. I'll just do the utility pictures, and I'll go up to the top here, and I can say, okay, I'd like to link these somehow with this bus up here. So I can select this bus on the one line, and I hit link, and you can see here it says connect to media items to one line item, and I'll hit no, and I can actually say, oh, actually, I want to grab this cable too and do it. And now it's connect to with 2. So you can see that it's very quick and easy to say connect a couple items, and now I can go into here, I can look at the collected data, and I can see that these guys are linked. If I want to delete them, I can hit the little trash can item, and that'll help delete. And same thing goes from here. If I hit delete here, delete them all from the library altogether. In addition to linking, I can say, oh, well, I see this pictures here, and I'd like to know what it's linked to. And so I can look here and on the right-hand side and see that, oh, I've actually got this, at this point, I've linked it to 4 different items, and I'd like to know what this one is. So I can just click that and it'll take me to a dialog that says, would you like to open equipment properties or find it on the one line? I'll find it on the one line, and you can see that it just brings me to it and highlight it. If I want to open the equipment properties, it's as simple as that, and it opens the equipment properties. So that's a nice, easy way to navigate based on pictures. There's also some filtering options here. So you can see that I've got a view, okay, I can view all media. I can view media that has no equipment links. I can view media that is linked to equipment. So right now it's everything. If I just sort by no equipment links, you can see that, all right, here's the list of stuff that I've got in my media gallery that is not linked to any equipment right now. Here is the list of stuff in my media gallery that is linked to equipment. And then you can also go back to all media, and I can filter by tag. So I've pre-made some tags here, but this is related to the field over here that has a tag. And so I've made some tags, called this one bus, and you can see I just deselect it. It goes back to normal. This one's a panel. It's a cable. You can see this is a cable. And so how do you make these tags? Simply by going to the photo, and you can see over here on the right-hand side, I can add as many tags as I want. And when I add them, they appear on this list. So nice, easy way to a couple different ways to slice and dice your photos and sort them. Finally, the last media gallery item I would like to show is the ability to modify the description notes, and as we just saw, the tags. And so as you can see, you can select literally any photo here, and you can see the descriptions and the notes on the right-hand side. You can very easily just edit this and click off of it, and it's there. And that will also show up, you do the same thing within here. So, if I want to modify this utility 1 test, 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 I hit OK. You can see here that the text that I put associated with that item when I was in the equipment window now shows up in here, and it works similarly vice versa. Next up, I'm going to show a couple practical examples of data entry. Once I've already got images within EasyPower, I've done my data gathering, I'm back at my desk, and I've got my images associated with the appropriate equipment. So first, just to clean things up, I'll exit the media gallery, and I'll navigate down here to a transformer where I know I need to enter some data here. You can see that the data is not fully entered. I'm showing this on one screen, so I'm going to bring EasyPower over to the left side here, and I'll go into that equipment dialog. You can see that this has a transformer nameplate associated with it, some image that I associated at a previous date, but it also needs data that needs to be filled in. And so I'm going to use this nameplate to both verify the data that I already have in there that I might have entered from a one line and enter the data that I don't have. And so first thing, I'll do winding configuration. You can see here that my high side is a Y grounded, my low side is a delta. So I've confirmed that, Y grounded delta. My high voltage connections, center tap looks to be about 69 kV. My low voltage delta winding is 2.4 kV. And so I've confirmed these. Now I could go into a little more detail and enter a specified tap, but we won't worry about that, at least for this webinar. All right. And then I want to get the size right. That's the last part of this. And so this is a 65-degree rise. OAFA, I've got that covered. And I would like to find the size here. So it looks like it's 5,000 kVA, and I want that second rating to be 6250. So if I enter 5,000 here, hit calculate based on the rest of what I've entered, I get 6250 just as expected. Coming over to the impedance tab, looks like I need a percent impedance. So I come up here, can see that my impedance is 4.03%. I'm going to enter that right here. And then within EasyPower, the X over R and the Z0%, the zero sequence impedance, are actually calculated values based on the positive sequence impedance that I enter. You can, of course, enter them on your own if you have them from test report data, but hitting the calculate button gets you to where you need to get to. And that's it. I've entered the data for the transformer. Now that we're done with the transformer, I'll exit out of this picture, select OK, and we're good with the data entry on that item. I'll navigate over to a circuit breaker, and we can do some circuit breaker data entry as well. You can see this circuit breaker does not have its data entered, so I will select it. And you can see, again, I've got images associated with this circuit breaker. One of them is a nameplate and the other one is settings. And so first we'll do the nameplate. All right, so let's rotate this guy and you can see that I have a GE catalog number TC8. So I'm just going to search TC8 here and you can see, oh, there we go, GE Power Brake TC8. Select this and EasyPower does a nice job of entering basically all of the information. I've got the max amps of the frame, and it also has the trip unit, which I'll do in the next photo here. So open this one up and you can see that, all right, I'm dealing with a RMS9 microversa trip. That's exactly what we have here, ICCB. And then finally, for the rest of the entered data, it appears that the sensor and the plug, if I zoom in right here, are both 800 amps. So enter this data. All right, so this is the nameplate. Now I need to enter some settings. I'll go to short circuit. I'll confirm that my auto calculate has put in the appropriate interrupt rating that is pulled from the library for this breaker, actually. And then I'll go into phase trip. And so what you can see here is I've got my dials that I'm zoomed in on my photo, and I've got the settings that I need to put in here on the left-hand side. So putting in my settings is as simple as reading these dials. So we'll go to the long-term pickup first. And so you can see the current setting is at a 1.0. My long time delay is at a 4. My short time pickup is at 3C. So we'll put a 3 here. And my short time delay is got I squared T out min. So I've got I squared T out here, and then I go to minimum. Finally, I have an instantaneous pickup right here at 3x. There we go. So I've now entered my phase trip settings. It also looks like I have a couple ground settings. So I'm going to go to the ground trip tab here, select plot ground TCC, and I will enter 0.6. If I look here, 0.6 for the ground setting, and it looks like it's I squared T in with an intermediate setting. I squared T in with an intermediate setting. Okay. And that concludes the data entry for this circuit breaker. This also concludes our agenda for today. So thank you for joining us. And as a note for closing, I guess I'd just like to say we're excited about these new data gathering and chem integration features. We hope they play a part in helping EasyPower users make the best use of time spent both in the data gathering process, but also the data entry and the quality control process. That'll be all for now, so please feel free to answer any questions in the chat. I will be happy to answer them.
So do we have any questions from the audience? We have a few that have been typed in during the presentation. It's pretty exciting capabilities for the laptop version of EasyPower. Mike, is there anything else you want to add?
No, not at this time. Like Jim said, if anybody's in any questions, go ahead and ask them now. We've got a couple coming in. How can I link my camera to EasyPower? So, Allie, the easy answer to how you can link your camera to EasyPower is if you're using EasyPower on a laptop or a tablet and you just hit the camera icon, it'll select any cameras that are connected to that computer. If you don't have a device that you've got EasyPower on that you're carting around with you, then you can always use a digital camera and upload those photos to EasyPower and link them manually. But if you've got EasyPower on a laptop in your field and it's kind of on the cart you're rolling around with your data gathering, you can use that feature we showed in the middle of the presentation where you select external camera and it associates the photos with the equipment automatically based on the timestamp that they were taken. So there's a couple options there to accommodate most of the use cases. Roland Weekly asks any suggestions on collecting cable sizes.
If you can get a picture of the jacket, I think that's always the best method, but I know that's a tough one. The features we show today are helpful for storing that if you can get it, but don't specifically address the difficulties in that if it's not available on the one line, if you can't get a picture of the jacket, if the cable's not accessible, that's the topic maybe for another webinar. William Noyes asks, is a Windows pad I think you're asking if it's required to have a Windows device use EasyPower, and that is, yes, that is correct. You can use EasyPower on any Windows device, including tablets with Windows installed. And that is all of the questions we have right now.
Mike, thank you for an excellent presentation, and thanks to everyone for joining us today. And we look forward to having you attend future webinars in the near future. Have a good day.
Thanks, everyone.